Welcome to Her Anime Universe. I'm your host Carla, and if you love anime, manga, and the stories that inspire and entertain us, you're in the right place. Here we get into epic adventures, heartfelt romances, unforgettable characters, and even the lessons we can take from them. So whether you're here for nostalgia, new recommendations, or just a good time geeking out, join me, a longtime fangirl, as we explore the universe of all things anime, manga, and even the occasional K drama. Remember to follow, like, and subscribe, and if you enjoy the show, leave a review. It helps more anime lovers find the podcast and keeps the conversations going. Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Her Anime Universe. I'm your host Carla, and I'm so excited to have you here as we dive into the wonderful world of anime, manga, and everything in between. This podcast is about celebrating the lessons, the laughs, and the life moments we can all relate to through the stories we love from anime. But first, let me tell you a little bit about me and why I'm even starting this podcast. So, a little background on me is I wear many different hats: entrepreneur, coach, as you know, podcaster, editor, wife, and mama. But here's something most people don't know about me: I've always been an anime, manga, superhero, and animated film lover at heart. It's something I used to keep hidden, especially in high school. Back then, people called anyone who loved anime or manga a nerd or weird, and I'll admit, it made me feel shy and ashamed. I didn't want to stand out in front of a crowd. I didn't want to be in the spotlight. I've talked about it in my other podcast that I have, that I had this fear of being seen. And so I kept this hidden. And like I said, especially in high school, because I didn't want to stand out, this was something that I felt shame about for so long. I feel like all my life I've been into anime and into, the world of being in fantasy or outside or out of this world, right? Out of this reality. And it was a way for me to escape. And so back then, I had a lot of friends who were into it already, who would share about it. And they had no care if somebody thought weird about them or anything like that. But for me, at the time, I cared too much about what people thought about me and being made fun of. And I was a shy person, so I hated it to be confronted about things. So, as I have been growing, I have really rediscovered this, right? And so, fast forward to today, I'm doing so many things in my life, and I've realized that this passion of mine is something that makes me unique. It's a part of who I am, right? I've embraced it, and honestly, it's been so freeing. Back in 2005, when my family moved from LA to Austin, anime became my escape, my little world that I could go and get lost in, right? In a good way. Because here in this world, I felt so lost and sad leaving my home, my friends behind, starting over in high school here without knowing anyone was just really hard for me, being shy at the time. But binge watching anime and reading mangas just gave me so much comfort. My anime journey started by me watching shows like Inuyasha on Adult Swim, Dragon Ball, which I think at this point I've now watched again, maybe a third or fourth time with my bonus son, talking about full circle, right? Fruits Basket. I remember in high school, a friend of mine, would call her Titsy. I don't even know if she's listening to this. She introduced me to Read or Die during lunchtime, Cowboy Bebop, Black Cat, Air Mastery, Claymore, and so many more. And I was also a huge manga reader, right? Trips to Barnes and Noble or Borders, if you remember those stores were my favorites. And I'd pick out as many manga volumes as I could afford because for one, I wasn't working when I started to read these, but if I would go help my mom clean houses, then I would save up money for this. And recently, actually, we just went to Barnes and Nobles and I picked out two new mangas that I'll talk about at a later episode. But it was something that it wasn't just about the entertainment, right? It became a way for me to escape and cope with that transition in my life. So, why this podcast is something that I'm starting now as an adult, right? Is I've come to realize just how much anime mirrors life. There's so much we can learn from it about resilience, relationships, and even mindset. So that's what I want to, explore here with you, from funny anime to romances, action-packed adventures, thrillers, even though sometimes they scare me. I'll share the shows I love, the lessons I learn, and how anime can inspire us to improve our own lives. And there's always a lesson there, right? There's always a lesson in anime that we can take that just mirrors what we are going through in our life now. There's something there that sometimes, like I said, it's this little escape that just allows us to relax a little bit, right? It's the ability to have something that is just fun. At least for me, it's so much fun. At this age, I'm in my 30s, yo, okay? But I just now have the confidence to admit how much I love it. Most of my friends that I have aren't fully into it. It's mostly the guys who I can talk to about anime, like in my circle and manga. And so I'm just wanting to connect with the community, right? I'm hoping that in future episodes I can have like really cool people on who want to talk about certain characters, who want to talk about maybe they've done voiceovers or something, like that would be a goal. Like connect me if you know anybody. And so yeah, and so I also want to share that you're wondering about like this little logo that I made and also the cover of this podcast. And a few years ago, there's this guy that I met at a house party, and he actually would draw characters, like manga characters, out of a person, right? This is what he does for his trade. And so he drew me as an anime character. And part of that was that at the time I was crossfitting a lot. And so he drew me as this manga character lifting weights, and she was like strong and stuff, right? And so that's a little bit about that and why this logo has the barbell. And also, when I think of her anime universe, it's about going into this other world, but from the perspective, like I said in the intro and in the trailer, if you heard it, about the perspective coming from a woman. Because most of the podcasts that I've heard or watched, they do have women in them, but they're also a mixture, right? And so this is directly from my perspective as a girl, as a fangirl, as an otaku, right? As someone who's just loved it for so long, and I'm just regaining that love for it. No, it's not regaining that love for it. I am just like really embracing my love for this and sharing it with you. And again, it's the lessons, but also what I learn, right? This new manga that I'm going to be reading, what is this about? Maybe a little review about it. I don't know. We'll see where this goes, but this is just something that I wanted to do for fun, and let me know any recommendations that you have. I am a mom, so I'm going to do my best to watch when I can and read when I can, of course. But a lot of the first episodes that you're going to hear are going to be about things that I've already watched and read. And yeah, I think that's what I got for now. But I just want to say thank you so much, right? Thank you so much for tuning into this first episode of Her Anime Universe. I can't wait to share this journey with you. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and let me know what anime you'd like me to cover. In the next episode, I'm going to get into how my anime obsession truly began in eighth grade with two classics that changed everything for me. So just make sure to listen out for that. So thank you for tuning in to this first episode of Her Anime Universe, this perspective from me as a woman, and I can't wait to share this journey with you. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and let me know what anime you'd like me to cover, what manga you'd like me to read, and maybe even a K drama, right? Because I said this is about this universe. I think about it like Marvels, yeah? And so in the next episode, we're going to dive into how my anime obsession truly began in eighth grade with two classics that changed everything for me. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, that's it for today's episode of Her Anime Universe. Thanks for hanging out with me and geeking out over all things anime and manga. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It really helps this podcast grow. Let's keep the conversation going over on Instagram at Her Anime Universe or even on my other page at Coach Carlita. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep being unapologetically you.